Ever since my junior high self was absolutely shocked to find out that Willow was generally thought of as less attractive than Buffy on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, I learned a lot about standards of beauty and how they don't hold true to everybody. But there is one unequivocal truth on guitar, is that the key of A major is the prettiest key. But we're going to talk about some other different chords in there that you can kind of use to tie them together, because I've been on this quest to make the 1-4-5 in any key sound less basic, and I think this is a great way to do it in a very beautiful way. Okay, so 1-4-5 means those are the three kind of main major chords in any key. In the key of A, those happen to be A major, D major, and E major. Okay, I'm sure you've probably all played some kind of version of that, right? But is there anything really beautiful about that aside from just, the can-do attitude of the working class? Probably not. Beautiful is not the word that I would go for. So let's actually start with just an open A chord like this. And let's be honest, Sarah Michelle Gellar is the one chord in any key of beauty, alright? So it's built off this triad right here. So my pointer finger is grabbing the E note, the fifth of an A chord on the B string, and then we just staircase it down. Alright? Now you can get all the open strings too. You can get open E, open A, and open high E to kind of make it chime out a little bit, right? That sustain on a cool guitar like this Taylor 614 really is what makes this key beautiful, alright? Now, when we go to the 4 and the 5 chord, let's kind of find a way to really incorporate some of these same open bigness beauty into the 4 and the 5 chord, okay? So now we know that the 5th fret on the A string is a D. That's where the 4 chord is. And then the 7th fret is an E, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to do something that sounds like this. Okay, so we're going to start on the 4 chord, which, again, this is going to be a different type of a D major chord voicing, okay? I'm using my pinky to grab the 5th fret on the A string. And now I'm going to make like a C shape. If you've ever done like the cage system, I guess it's kind of like that. I hesitate to call it the cage system. But I've got 5A, 4D, and 2G. It's a great hand stretch too. If you can't do this, we're going to talk about an alternate way in like a minute or two, right? But this is going to be the 4 chord. Okay? This is definitely Willow. This is Alyson Hannigan, right? Just as beautiful normally as the 1 chord, but there is something a little weird about that, and that's going to be the sharp 4 in that mode. Don't worry about it. If none of that made sense to you, join my Patreon where I'll describe it in much more detail. So there's the 4 chord, right? The beauty of Willow. Move this a step up, 2 frets higher. And that's the 5 chord, okay? This would probably be Charisma Carpenter or Cordelia, because there's a certain type of guy that just cannot resist the 5 chord, right? And I've been there, I've flirted with it, I've had my fair share of Cordelia chases, but you always want to avoid it if you want happiness, right? So there's the 5 chord, there's the 4 chord, and then we can really take this same shape, right? And then just move it to where that 5 chord kind of was into our original chord voicing. Okay, so we kind of have this beautiful 5 to 4 to 1, which I think sounds a lot more interesting than 5, 4, 1. Okay, is it better or not? Whatever, that's just relative. But at the very least, it could be a cool alternative, and you can kind of like move these back and forth. You could have the E here to the D, and then just think of that 1 chord, or you could have A, then go to E, to D, okay? Just like that. So, again, recap. Here's the 4 chord, 5, 4, and 2, starting on the A string, and then get that open B and open E, okay? And again, that open B and open B string, since these are strings in the key, that's what's going to make it sound beautiful. It might actually change the name of the chord if we're being real specific, but we're not worried about that, right? We're just getting 4 to 5. Okay, so now, you're like, this only works in the key of A. Let's spin it off, angel style, right? So stupid. And if this is too much of a reach, let's do it in a different key. Let's do it in the key of C. We can just use a capo. Again, A sharp, B, C, 3 frets higher. We just put it on the 3rd fret. And now everything relative to this capo that we just did is going to be in the key of C. All right? So again, we were kind of rooting on the 5th fret before. So 5 plus 3 is 8. So here, if you take your pointer finger and then go to the 8th fret on the B string, or the 5th fret relative to the capo, and make that beginning triad. Now this is actually a C chord. And now we can do a 1, 4, 5 in the key of C, which is really just C, F, and G. All right? So you do that same thing here. And then, again, our root note would be like this. There's Buffy, right? We can really just kind of move this around. And now, actually, with this, I can use my ring finger, middle finger, and pointer finger, because since the fret spacing is smaller down here, I can go 5 to 4 a little easier. All right? Willow, Charisma Carpenter, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Join us later where we talk about how Eliza Dushku is actually legit the most attractive person on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Or maybe we'll do one for the fellas, if there's enough interest. Know what I'm saying? I mean, David Boreanaz, come on, who can resist? So anyway, these are just some different ideas that you could use. I really think that using a capo and playing like just the chords in the key of C, right? It's something that can open up your playing. Even if you just take the basic chords like the A, E, and D shapes, now you're playing C, G, F relative to the capo, right? In reality, you're playing a C, G, and F, but you're playing the A shapes. Because I think we all have a tendency to get maybe stuck, I know I do, in the same keys shapes. So just by using a capo and experimenting with like open strings and stuff to add a little bit of flavor, you get a lot of incredible, beautiful results. Just like the beautiful cast of that amazing slept-on TV show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm not even sure what streaming service it's on right now, but it's definitely worth checking out. And if not, my Patreon. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.